Hello, my name is NJ Franco, and these are my thoughts on Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baldree, which is the third book in the Legends and Lattes series, which is currently also the last book in the series. Travis Baldree might write more in the series, we don't know yet, but for right now, this is the third and final book in the Legends and Lattes series. With that being said, though, if you have not read the first two books in the series, being Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust, I highly recommend you reading those before you read this one because there's a lot of things that are referenced in this book that happened in the first two books, and I don't want you to get spoilers and whatnot. So read the first two books first. Which honestly, it doesn't matter which one you read first, if it's Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust, the order that they were written in, or you can read them in chronological order, Bookshops and Bone Dust, and then Legends and Lattes. It doesn't really matter. But either way, read both of them before you read this one. Otherwise, it'll spoil things for you. Now, also, this book does have a fair amount of foul language in it, but anyone who's read Bookshops and Bone Dust shouldn't be too terribly surprised by that, seeing as the main character in this book is Fern from Bookshops and Bone Dust, and we all know that Fern's got quite the potty mouth on her, as I like to say. In fact, literally the very first word in this book is Fern dropping the F bomb. I kid you not. So yeah, if you're offended by foul language, just be fair warned about this book. And the majority of it comes from Fern, the potty mouth princess, as I like to call her. So as far as the plot, so Fern, as I mentioned, from Bookshops and Bone Dust, she actually moves to Thune, which is where Legends and Lattes takes place. So basically, this book combines the other two books that have in the series and kind of does like almost like a crossover, if you will. So Fern moves to Thune to open up a bookshop next to uh, Viv's coffee shop from Legends and Lattes, and basically after the story gets set up, she gets really drunk one night and she passes out inside of a wagon. And then when she wakes up, she finds herself on a adventure with the legendary elf Asterix, the one-eared elf. Now, I'll admit this story is a bit slow to start because it's got a lot of setting up to do. Fern has to get to Thune and she has to set up the bookshop, and it's all kind of slow. But once you get through all that and she gets drunk and she passes out in the wagon and then she wakes up and the adventure begins, then it really kicks off. So if you can get through the first like three or four chapters of setting up, and I get it, it's vital information that needs to happen, but once the first few chapters happen and the adventure actually begins, then it really starts to kick off. Now, along on this adventure is the Goblin Zill, who is actually Asterix's prisoner because she's a bounty hunter. She's captured Zill, and she's now bringing her back to, well, the person that paid her to capture Zill. And I'm not going to say who that is or what the deal, what Zill did, why she's a prisoner and whatnot, because that would be a spoiler for the end. So I'm not going to spoil nothing. So you're just going to have to read the book and find out what happens at the end. But so Zill is the prisoner in this little band. And I gotta say, I freaking love Zill. Zill is my favorite character, and I might not be a doctor who is capable of diagnosing somebody as such, but I'm telling you, Zill, she has got to have ADHD or autism or something, okay? Now, I have an ADHD son and I have an autism daughter, so I have some experience, living with people who have those conditions. And I gotta say, again, I'm not a doctor who's capable of diagnosing somebody as such, but I think she might have ADHD and or autism because she has sensory appreciation. Because at one point, Astrid gives Zill this cloak, and when she gets the cloak, she's all like, "Ooh, cloak." She like snuggles into it and whatnot. She likes collecting shiny things. She keeps wandering off from time to time. She likes to blip her tongue. She likes to stick out her tongue. And she just has this charming innocence about her. I freaking love Zill. Zill is just awesome. Hands down my favorite character from this book. There's also, this book has talking weapons. Okay, weapons that talk. Which I was initially put off by, but after a while, they kind of grew on me, and they started to, actually have some decent commentary. So I'm like, all right, the weapons aren't that bad, but just be fair warned, there are talking weapons. If you think that's dumb, I thought it was dumb at first, but they grew on me a little bit. There's also at one point, they come across a rattkin religion. They come across this monastery full of rattkin who worship this chaos god, and they're also like super friendly and hospitable. So they're like, "Why are you worshiping chaos god, but you're also super friendly?" And they explain it. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. It's spoilers. But yeah, I freaking uh, Brigands and Bread Knives so far is my favorite book in the Legends and Lattes series, hands down. It was Legends and Lattes for a while, but now it's Brigands and Bread Knives. Freaking love this book. And while it is a trilogy for now, I hope Travis Baldree writes more. Either writes, a freaking prequel with Zill, because I'd love to see more of her, or a prequel or sequel with Asterisk, or give Fern another story, whatever. I want more. Okay, I want more of Fern, Asterisk, or especially Zill. So freaking love this story. And if you've already read the other two books in this series, definitely check this one out because, in my opinion, it's the best. But anyway, that's it for me. So until next time, remember, nothing in life is free except for liking, commenting, and subscribing. See ya.